Well, guess I'm one of the good guys.
I was asked during a premiere chat who I would cast in a movie version of Red Dead Redemption 2, and shout out to the viewer who gave me this idea. Regrettably, I do not recall your name at the moment, but you know who you are, and I thank you. The problem here is I love movies. I love old movies. I would consider myself a film scholar. Not to flex, but I could write a book about what I know about movies, and I have considered it. But I like YouTube more and nobody reads anymore, so here we are. However, I do not love modern movies, and I am unsure you will recognize the actors I would choose, or you would just find them stale and old-fashioned. I don't like the direction American cinema is going these days. I remember complaining that movies were becoming more like video games, but the converse is also true. Video games have become more like movies, to the point where I believe video games have eclipsed American cinema, both in terms of an art form and in entertainment value. Video games have acquired what I would call a cinematic immersion. They have become movies that you can live in and participate in, while traditional movies remain an essentially passive experience. But it's an interesting question and makes me appreciate the Resident Evil franchise for simply creating an entirely new character and having her exist in that world. It would be easy enough to do something similar with this game. However, I do have a list of actors I would like to see, but I need to point out that this is an impossible casting list. I pulled these people from different decades, and even if we could sort out the timeline differentials, all of these actors would never agree to work together. They are all stars in their own right and would end up hogging the scenes and competing for attention or just storming off the set. The movie would never get made and would also be 12 hours long. So in no particular order, here is my cast list for Red Dead Redemption 2, the movie. For Dutch Vanderland, I would like Ian McShane, who you may know as Al Swearingen from the HBO series Deadwood. He has the voice, the charm, and the menace to play Dutch, and also the look, to the point where I believe the game developers based Dutch's appearance on this character. I would also accept Gregory Peck in this role, who won the Academy Award for his portrayal of Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird. For Arthur and Hosea, I would like to see Robert Redford and Paul Newman. They have the right looks and a great chemistry together in movies I highly recommend, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid from 1969 and 1973's The Sting. And for Micah Bell, I would cast Jack Palance, who won an Academy Award for his portrayal of Curly in City Slickers, but broke out in the iconic western Shane, starring Alan Ladd in what would become one of his signature roles, the Man in Black. Jack Palance has a very distinctive voice and look and made a great villain. He even played Dracula in a 1973 TV movie, and you might remember him as the crime boss Carl Grissom in Tim Burton's 1989 Batman. Moving on to Charles Smith, I would cast Yaphet Kotto, who you might remember as Parker from Ridley Scott's Alien, or the James Bond villain Mr. Big in Live and Let Die. For John Marston, I would choose iconic actor James Dean, perfect for the character with movies like Rebel Without a Cause and his final film, Giant, where he played a Texas oil hand who strikes it big. For Lenny, I would like to see Eddie Murphy from Beverly Hills Cop, but this is a dramatic role. We can't have Eddie going off script and improvising and dropping F-bombs right and left. He would be hard to control. For Javier, I would cast a young Edward James Olmos, Gaff from Blade Runner. He has shown in subsequent roles to have the dramatic range and humor for this character. For Bill Williamson, I would want George Kennedy. That name may not be familiar to you, but he won an Oscar in 1957 for Cool Hand Luke, starring opposite Paul Newman. He has the physical size and bravado needed for the character, and the acting chops to make him memorable. For Uncle, I would like veteran cowboy actor and rodeo star Slim Pickens, who you may know as Major Kong from Dr. Strangelove, or Taggart from Blazing Saddles. For Mr. Pearson, I picked the charming English character actor Peter Ustinov, who won an Academy Award for Spartacus in 1960, where he played the gladiator school patron Batiatus. I also recommend his performance as Hercule Poirot in Death on the Nile. And for Sadie, I want Mila Jovovich, or in Russian, Mia Jovovich, because we need an actor with fighting skills. I would also consider Kate Beckinsale from the Underworld series, if Mia is unavailable. For Abigail, I would like to see Hollywood icon Ava Gardner, who was once married to Frank Sinatra, a great beauty with a very distinctive look. I highly recommend Mogambo from 1953, directed by veteran Western director John Ford, where Clark Gable is a big game hunter who has to choose between Ava Gardner and Grace Kelly, a dilemma I sorely wish I had had the opportunity to experience. For Jack, let's have a young Elijah Wood. I mean, we could throw any kid actor in that role, and I don't have a strong opinion either way, so I'll give you a modern one. One of my favorite characters is Tilly, and I would like to see an early 2000 Halle Berry as her. Think Jinx from Die Another Day, or Storm from the first X-Men movie. For Kieran Duffy, I would like a young Dustin Hoffman from The Graduate. He is perfect for the role. And Mary Beth, another favorite character. Let's have Jennifer Lawrence from the Hunger Games era. I originally thought Sandra Bullock from Speed, but I thought I should give you someone you like, because you will not recognize my choice for Karen. I would cast Jane Russell as Karen, and you may not know that name. She's most famous for a 1942 Western, The Outlaw, which featured what has become a classic pinup. I know Karen is blonde and Jane is a brunette, but trust me, she is perfect for this role. Google her right now and you will agree. And for Herr Strauss, I want another actor from the 40s, Peter Lorre, who starred in so many of my favorite films, including Fritz Lang's M from 1931, The Maltese Falcon from 1941, and of course Ugarte in Casablanca, quite possibly, along with Blade Runner and Alien, my favorite movie of all time. And for Molly, let's go with Emma Watson, because I know you guys all like modern actors, so you can have this one. Josiah Trelawney, let's go with a modern Johnny Depp. He would have fun with that role. I know you know who he is, but one of my favorite Johnny Depp movies that you may not be familiar with is Tim Burton's Ed Wood from 1994. And for Sean, I would like a young Kevin Kline. Think Otto in A Fish Called Wanda. He is American, but he's really good at accents. And finally, for Miss Grimshaw, I would go with an 80s Raquel Welch. You might remember her from her fur bikini in 1 Million Years BC, but she also made several westerns, my personal favorite being Hannie Calder. Additionally, I would like to add Bruce Lee to this list. Perhaps we could create a new gang member, or he could actually play Davy Callender in a flashback. Or we could make a bounty hunter who works for the Saint Denis gunsmith. Bruce Lee didn't make that many movies, and you may have seen his cameo in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I would recommend that you start with his signature film, Enter the Dragon, from 1973. This video is sponsored by Batmantonio, my second gaming channel where I play all the video games I enjoy that are not Red Dead Redemption 2. Like and subscribe for deep dive gaming commentaries where I overanalyze and focus on the details. And yes, of course, I am absolutely interested in your casting choices for this game, and yes, I will be making a second video on this subject based on your comments and thoughts. Have fun, friends! I'm Super Antonio. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your views. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell for daily Red Dead Redemption 2 content. We shall meet again. Further on down the trail.
Never thought I'd say this, but it's good to see you, Arthur Morgan.
You don't look so good.
I don't feel too good neither. I'm freezing.
Don't die just yet, cowboy.
Come on, compadre.